Greetings, fellow humans. Please allow me to introduce myself. I am the conscious entity perceiving this so-called existence we call reality, named Colin de Macaulay. And this is Con of Knowledge. A description of the show is essentially within the title, but for further explanation, it is the manipulation of humanity's collective knowledge to allow for one to benefit not only their self, but society as a whole. Con of Knowledge will be broadcasted for free on YouTube, Facebook, Minds, iTunes, SoundCloud, and of course conofknowledge.com. So are you ready for some knowledge to swell the dome? Perfect. Today's episode is the start of the first season. This episode will be an explanation of the theory of determinism and how you may exploit it to greatly impact yourself into becoming more stable, productive, successful, and essentially just alter your personality as well as yourself to how you see fit. Please note, the exploitation of this theory is actually a tool that I myself use to combat major depression disorder. Determinism, simply defined, is essentially the theory that all events, including one's moral choices, life decisions, and actions, are completely determined by previously existing causes. Determinism is the basis of all knowledge which has been attained by homo sapiens, such as natural law, physics, psychology, astronomy, and chemistry, to name a few, as well as the methods used to attain that knowledge, like the scientific method. It also correlates with and is an aspect of the late Edward Norton's lovely theory of the well-known butterfly effect, but that's slightly a digression. So back to the matter at hand. So how does determinism really work? Well, within our physical reality on the premise of natural law and physics, it is actually quite simple to explain. Let's say there's a ball on the ground. I pick up the ball, it comes off the ground and into my hand. I raise it to shoulder level and drop the ball. Why did the ball come off the ground? Well, simply that's because I picked it up. Why did the ball fall to the ground once I let go? Well, obviously this occurred because the Earth is such a high mass that it creates its own gravity, and once I released the ball, the Earth pulled the ball towards it. But why did I pick up the ball in the first place? What sequence of events led me to this action? Now that is the question in the aspect of determinism in which we are interested in, as it is the characteristic we can definitely exploit to better ourselves. However, it is much more complex and harder to explain, as there is an entire web of environmental, biological, and psychic deterministic factors. Psychic deterministic factors referring to one's own psyche at the present moment, and not the inherent paranormal ability to read minds. Thought I'd clear the air. Now you're going to have to exploit and manipulate all of these three factors in grave detail to the most of your ability to be able to significantly impact yourself in a positive manner. So what would a prime example of determinism in a human be? Alright. So there's this young adolescent, and we'll name him Toddrick, but we'll just call him Todd for short. It's currently just after 3 a.m. and Todd is on a quite long drive from leaving his ex-girlfriend's house to his parents' home, as his ex-girlfriend just left him and forced him to leave for some reason that was beyond him. From his inability to understand the circumstance as to why she left him, he is greatly frustrated and irritated. Now Todd's parents live on the outskirts of the city in the suburbs, a fair distance away from where his ex-girlfriend lives, so he has to take the highway home. Since it is so late, he is incredibly tired. In conjunction with his anguish and rage, in addition to knowing frequent speeders who get away with the crime, the consideration that it is harmless as no one will be on the highway but himself, and the knowledge of the area and the fact that the area is rarely patrolled by the local law enforcement, he himself decides to speed to go home and sleep off his discomfort and anguish as well as exhaustion. So he presses down on the gas pedal and begins to go faster and faster and faster down the highway. The speed limit of the highway is 70 kilometers an hour, and Todd begins by going 100 kilometers. He then passes around a bend of the highway onto a straight stretch where Todd knows people always speed because the only way to get caught is by police that are the oncoming traffic. So Todd continues to accelerate to 160 kilometers per hour on the straight stretch, eager to go home. Little does Todd know, he unknowingly passed the speed trap that was hidden on the bend of the highway. The police pulled out and started chasing Todd down the highway, speeding themselves, and noticing that they are unable to catch up to him, they turn on their sirens and lights, hoping that Todd will pull over. Todd then looks into his rearview mirror as the flicker of the lights catches his eyes through his peripheral vision, and notices that the police are a minimum of 10 kilometers behind him. His parents' home is 6 kilometers away. At the current rate he is going, it would take him 2 minutes and 15 seconds to get home, where he would still have 4 minutes and 45 seconds to turn off his vehicle and hide from the police, if they're going the same speed. Knowing this, Todd decides to pull over. But why did Todd even pull over? Well, the shortest answer would simply be because he was indoctrinated into a belief system where the men in the blue are the good guys and are there for your protection as well as well-being. And to go against them or to disregard any figure of authority is a conflict of your better interest, which will also lead to significant consequences. So why did Todd speed? Was it because he was a bad man who doesn't care about anyone but himself? Well, no. But I'm also not saying what Todd did was right. There were many factors which led him to the action. He was exhausted and in anguish. He used some reason deriving from knowledge of previously existing events to justify his action, which, because of his desire for rest and a mental reset, seemed reasonable to him. Of course, there are probably many other factors which led him to this, such as an inclination to reckless behavior due to some other events within his life, but you get the point as to what determinism is. There are so many factors involved that it is generally impossible to take note of them all, as well as convey them all. Alright, so now you know what determinism is, as basically the fact that any event has a causal influence. When regarding humans, those influences are environmental, biological, and psychic. Alright, cool. So now you're probably wondering, well, how does that affect me? Well, listen, and I'll tell you, because this is actually huge. Through the manipulation of your psyche and the environment, you can completely alter your existential reality. It can eliminate procrastination, laziness, unhealthy diets or habits, and so forth. You can become more productive, successful, virtuous, convicted, responsible, mature, and ultimately the best version of yourself. Throughout the course of the next video, I will be giving examples as to how you can use this knowledge to better yourself by prescribing some pretty common acts that a life coach or psychologist would prescribe by making minor alterations within your life to reap the most benefits. Yes. Realistically, however, you may have to alter this to meet your specific requirements, but I'll give you some basic guidelines which you can build upon, and I'm sure you can figure it out from there. I mean, you are a wise ape after all, so give yourself some credit. For those of you who are listening or watching on an outlet that allows you to comment, let me know of what you think else was part of the sequence of events which led to Todd's actions. Or add a story of your own behavior and events within your life explaining which influential causes may have led you to that action. What altercations arose and what alterations could you or Todd have made to create a different outcome? And what would that outcome be? Be sure to tune in next time for more knowledge to swell the dome, and thank you for listening, as it has truly been an honor to serve you. If you wish to do so, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @ConofKnowledge, and be sure to subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, or a topic you would like to talk to me about, go to my website at colinofknowledge.com/contact and send me a message. Again, this is Con of Knowledge, and I wish you a blissful existence. Peace.